Hi there, so today I'm going to be beach worming and then whiting fishing. So I need some good live bait for my whiting. Pink nippers work really well as well. You can go and purchase bait from a reputable tackle shop that sells good quality live bait. Tube worms work quite well. If you've got no alternative, those preserve worms work okay as well. Okay, so anyway, I'll see you out there. Okay, so I've spotted a few worms. I'm going to put the bucket up here now. It's actually a lot of worms. Just a lot of small ones. Here we go. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Woo, you gotta pick your worms. Here we go. Another good quality worm. Mate, at this rate, I'll be able to get 6 to 10 within 15 minutes, I reckon. Comes a wave. Whoa, excellent. Ooh, just slipped out of my fingers then. See what I mean? It doesn't come up. There was a big one there. There it goes, look. Very hard to get. Very hard to get. Okay, there we go. Enough worms for a session. Beautiful. Let's get out of here. Just putting a bit of sand on the worms. Oh, g'day, how are you? So, I'm now at the stage where I've found the beach. I went up and down checking out gutters. The swell's up a little bit. This is a lull period at the moment, which means that small wave period. You've probably heard me mention that many times, lulls and said. Anyway, I found a gutter, well, a hole, about 40 metres long, and I'm going to be fishing that. Now, if there's no good there, I've got another option further down beach, but it's quite limited. So, if there's nothing going on here, pack up the tools. If you look at my gear, right, you can see it's just a matter of picking up the gear, going back to the car and going to another beach. Simple as that. If you sprawl everything out, you'll find that you'll spend a lot more time packing up, which means that you probably won't pack up for that reason and move to another beach if you need to. Anyway, bit of advice. All right, I'm out there. Mate, I don't have a clue for whiting here. well. I do not have a clue. So I've got to work out, find out, investigate, probe. Beautiful worms, look at that. A nice dark patch of water there. White water in the back there, depositing food into the hole. Looking pretty good. Well, so far quiet. There we go, look at that. Spoke too soon. Whoa! Fish. Solid fish. Got that little whiting. Nice. You may notice the way I actually do this, right? I love control when I'm fishing. Arm goes underneath there, I climb up the Paternoster rig, let go of that section there, grab the whiting. I've got 2-3 hands. Look at that. Beautiful little fish. So I know it's legal, but I just want to show you that it's well over. I reckon probably 30 centimetres. Isn't it funny? I said it's quiet, and boom. Move the bait a little bit, bang, the whiting. I'd love a smaller mat. This mat's very nice for big fish, but tiddlers like this. Look at that, 30, 31. There you go, 31. Woo! Awesome. Okay, so dispatch this fish. In the bucket it goes. So you notice I'm holding the hook. I'm not going like that with the hook. I'm just holding the hook firmly and threading on the worm. And then up the line. Oh, look at this. This hook got baited as well, so there must have been multiple fish, which is really encouraging. I must have missed a second fish. So have a close look at my hands. See the sand on that? Get rid of that sand. Otherwise the sand will be transferred to the reel. And when it's transferred to the reel, you could end up hearing that grinding effect after a duration of time, after it accumulates a lot of sand. So you're best off just keeping your hands as clean as possible. Alright, I'm just washing that sand off now. So I'm moving from right to left, as I mentioned earlier on, the current's pushing me that way. So I'm not really enthusiastic yet. That was just one whiting. It took about 5 minutes before I got that bite. Oh, here we go. I opened my mouth too soon again. That was a decent whiting bite. Might have baited me. So that can be the problem about using heavier sinkers. They use the weight of the sinker, barely bite the bait, and they use the weight of your sinker to tear the bait off the hook. They also use your rod tip that's bending over as well. So it's like a tug of war. Tight on this side, tight on that side. It's only barely grabbed the bait. It hasn't grabbed the whole hook. It's only just barely grabbed the bait and it tears it off. And that's why sometimes you get baited. So don't just think naturally, oh, I got baited and it was a small fish. Not necessarily true. Let's check out the bait. Just going to do a top up. Sometimes you'll see anglers just throwing out multiple times with the same bait. It's like putting a steak under the tap. So when I was a teenager, I didn't know how to cook. I put my friggin' steak under the tap to defrost it. And I go, oh, that's ready to roll now. I put it in the fry pan, cook it up, and it was a horrible steak. A lot of the flavour was washed out. The same happens with a bait that's washing around. It's washing around with the surf and it's washing out the flavour, and you see it becoming duller and duller. When it gets too dull, take that bait off and put on a fresh one. Always take into account that if a quality fish bites your bait, it's a privilege that you're getting a bite. You must be doing something right then. Okay, so get rid of that sand as well. You know, you can vary your sinker sizes as well. If you look in a tackle shop, it's no mistake that the sinker sizes are all different weights because of the amount of current that's out there. But you've also got to take into account that it's not that you can just throw on a smaller sinker and start using it. It may be too difficult for you to use. It depends on your level as an angler. So just because you need to go down in sinker weight doesn't necessarily mean that you can use it. You need to learn how to use those sinker weights, especially when you start going to the micro sizes. Big difference between 2 ounce and 1.5 and 1.5 and 1 and 3/4 to 1 ounce. You think 3/4 to 1 is not that much difference, but there is. And from 1/2 ounce to 3/4 there's a huge difference. And from 1/4 of an ounce to 1/2 an ounce, a huge difference, and huge difference from 1/8 of an ounce to 1/4, and it becomes more and more difficult. So as I say, I don't mean to repeat myself, but you need to know how to use these sinker weights. It's not just a matter of, okay, I'm going to put on a lighter sinker weight, you've got to know how to use it. So this is where I come in, I can teach you that. How to use those micro sinker weights properly, efficiently, and a whole bunch of other things I can show you as well. You can check me out on my website as well, so check out my description, and the gear and my website will be there too. Well, it's gone a little bit quiet. Oh, here we go. Oh, good fish. Oh. Oh, this is solid. Oh, yeah. Woo! Big brim. Oh, big tar line. Oh, yes. Woo! Look at that. Solid tar line. Wow. That's a beast of a one. Look at the size of it. That is one solid mother of a tar line. Wow, very impressive. Let's go and measure it up. I reckon it'd be 38 centimetres, but look at the height of it, bud. See the height? So you can tell the difference between those vertical stripes there. And it looks like a few little freckles on the face, the rounded head. So that's a big tarwine, that one there. It's a solid fish. Very, very solid. Awesome. Woo! How good is that? That's getting towards its maximum size. They get them up to about 42 centimetres, 44. This one here, as I said, the height of it, it's extraordinarily high. It's not a super long fish. So it's 37 centimetres, maybe nearly 38. Beautiful fish. Okay, so I'm going to stick this in the bucket here. Well, that was my first bite for quite a while. It was worth the wait. Anyway, so far, one 31 centimetre whiting, that ripper tarwine, and I dropped a good bream about at least 30 centimetres before. And it had a bit of a rattle from maybe another whiting, I think, which I think was a quality whiting, but that's all the bites I've had. 4 bites. So you might ask the question, are tarwine a school fish? Yes, they are. Hopefully, there'll be more out there. So the legal size for tarwine is 20 centimetres, which is pretty small. Part of the reason being is because they don't grow as big as a bream. Oh, here we go. Boop, 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 boop. Wonder what that was. Didn't continue. Funny, that fish didn't continue. Check my bait out, I think. As I said earlier on, I had that rattle and that was it. It didn't seem to eat my bait. It just had a quick rattle and that was it. It's quite typical when you're fishing for your whiting that you get mixed species. Bream, whiting, flathead, tarwine as you've seen, dart obviously. I mean, a lot of the times you can't avoid the dart on some beaches. Normally you think of beaches as just sand, but sometimes there might be a bit of reef out there, exposed rock, or there'll be kelp out there. And often you can see the kelp in the wave face, but if it's only patches of kelp, you won't see it. Well, generally you won't see it. And when it's very obvious, you'll see it on the surface. You'll see it like pieces of the kelp. It's like an iceberg. The majority of the iceberg's under the water, and that implies of kelp. So you'll see a small chunk or a small piece up on the surface, but the majority of it's under the water. A lot of people think, oh, there's weed washed up on the beach. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's weed in the water just because it's washed up on the beach. Sometimes you'll get no kelp on the beach above the actual water line because it hasn't washed up yet. That was just easterly, look at that. Bang, just picked up. Here we go, a couple rattles. Very small bites. Well, here we go. Oh, yes! Nice brim. Okay, well, about a 30 centimetre brim. Awesome. Awesome. Nice. Okay, so that goes in the creel. Nice. So I'm whacking on some pretty big baits. If you're buying the worms, it can get pretty expensive putting on baits this size. You may have heard me mention in the past and part on the other whiting video that if you've got lots of small whiting or dart, downsize your baits. Because otherwise you're going to end up with no bait. As simple as that. They'll just hammer you and hammer you. Another thing too, that if you're just getting hammered by undersized whiting and dart, move. You only need to move 20 metres. It's been like at your local beach and you got chips, right? And you throw a seagull a chip and there's 50 of its mates turn up. And then another 50 turn up. And they're just waiting in anticipation for you to throw more chips. So if you keep casting in the same spot, the fish are waiting there in anticipation for another feed. And undersized dart, well, not so much dart because dart is no legal size, undersized whiting, they'll just be waiting there. And they'll hammer the bait much faster than a more matured whiting. Anyway, let's get out there again. There you go, it's become a mixed bag. Brim, tarwine and whiting. Is there going to be a flathead thrown in this time? My aim was to catch whiting today, but you know something, I just want to feed a fish. Whatever it may be. Tarwine, brim, whiting. Okay, so this is the third spot I've moved to. That's 3 fish in 3 different spots. So the first spot I got 3 bites, missed one, got the whiting, dropped a brim. Second spot I got the tarwine, the first spot I got the brimmy. Okay, so let's move again. So don't be confused when I say let's move. I'm not moving to another beach. I'm just moving along the beach. I could be moving 15, 10 metres. I could be moving 50 metres. That's what I was telling you earlier on, to get rid of the old bait and put on something fresh. Woo, they're hard to find. Pretty fast, aggressive bite I just had then, but it didn't continue with it. It might have tore off a bit of bait, and that's it. Second bite I had where it just goes boom, and that's it. It doesn't come back for it. Oh, I should have covered myself up earlier, I think. Oh, look at that. Daiwa. I didn't miss the fish. So there you go. I didn't actually miss the fish. I thought I blatantly missed it, but I didn't. I think I got tailored. It was a sudden bang. So anyway, tailor. If you're not aware, tailor got very sharp teeth, and they bite you off. Well, they can bite you off. Oh, good fish. Wow, bang. Oh, it's solid. Wow, it's a good solid fish. Whoa! Wow, it's a big head banger. Wow, what a brim. Solid fish. We'll give that a bit of a wash. Now that's one solid brim. Beautiful fish. Mid-30s, I reckon that is. I actually felt that biting very, very timidly for several seconds, and then just bang, mate. The bite was just, it's incredible. Jeez, it went hard. Very solid fish, beautiful. That's another one for the bag. Awesome, nice brim. Wow, the current I'm fishing is really super rippy. Very sloppy surf as well. Onshore wind. Well, here we go. Whoa! Woo! Good fish. Wow, these surf brim, mate, they smash and grab. Wow, solid fish this one. Oh yes, another nice brim. Look at that. What a fatty. Solid fish. Got to be pleased with that. Something's just turned up. Not very big though. Ah, well, there you go. That's the culprit, whiting. It's a legal fish. Big sort of 29 centimetres. Wow, there might be a small whiting out there, how good's that? I say the fish that I dropped before was nearly certainly a whiting. Probably similar size, 29, 30 centimetres. Quite a small fish, this one. I reckon it's probably legal, but I'm going to release it anyway. Small fish here. This one here might be legal, I think. Oh, it's a better fish. Slightly better, unless it's hooked in the side. As I suspected, hooked in the side, underneath the chin. You can feel like that drag. So I think that's my time to leave. Now that's certainly undersized. Okay, so I'm going to go and clean the fish now. Cracking bag of fish. And thanks for watching, and hope you learned a few little tips out of it. And I'll be back soon with another video. Cheers.